You know, basically a flymph is the same as a soft tackle, except it's on 2x heavy hooks, so it sinks a little bit. So my setup is I really love a 10-foot 2-weight rod. Not any 10-foot 2-weight though, because the last 1.5 feet is so important, because I give action to the fly. And a lot of the rods are made for nymphing, and they're stiffer tips. This Echo 2-weight 10-foot Shadow X is my favorite rod, other than my cane rods. And if you look at the tip, just the last 6 inches. Now I'm doing that without raising the rod up. I'm just kind of squeezing my hand. And this goes back to the 16th century. They would make a rod out of one material, and then the last foot they would use a different material, because they knew how important it was to give that little twitch and give action to the fly. And as far as I'm concerned, action is the most important thing about fishing the flymphs. And then I like the 10-foot because I can mend it. And so this is the difference between this and, say, swinging wet flies. Swinging wet flies, most wet flies actually imitate little tiny minnows. And they swing them like this, right? I'll cast across, maybe mend downstream and get them swinging like this in front of a trout's nose. I'm avoiding that as much as I can. What I'm doing is making the fly look like an emerger. So emergers swim like this. And they don't go like that. So the hardest thing to learn is that little twitch. And most people over twitch. And you know, they do this. It just scares the fish. So it's a very subtle thing, and it takes a long time to learn it. I'm using 2 flies. I think I've got a size 12 on the point and a 14 on the dropper. And I keep them pretty far apart. In fact, I keep them even further apart than this sometimes. And the reason for that is I've had days where I've caught 9 out of 10 fish on the dropper. Other days, 9 out of 10 fish on the point. Why is that? I have no idea. I think it's the fact that they have different action. The dropper is a little closer to the surface. The point fly is a little further down. And if I'm using 2 size flies, I would put like a 16 on the dropper and a 14 on the point. I try to minimize false casting. Other than getting the line out the first time, I don't do any false casting. And so I'm pretty efficient. I normally, if they don't take on the first cast, they won't take on the second cast. This is so effective that I assume there just isn't a fish there. And then I walk down a couple feet and keep doing that all the way down this run. Okay, I'll cast out there, then I take the line and I lay it down, then I follow it. As soon as the line's tight, I give it the twitches. So I do everything I can to eliminate the swing. So you're not swinging flymphs or soft hackles. You're trying to make them look like an emerger. So I cast out, I lay the line down, and then little twitches. And 9 out of 10 times, you hook the fish right after the twitch. It's that twitch is like, you know, a toy mouse in front of a cat. You give it a little twitch, and that's when they pounce. Trout are predators too, you know. It's just, they get all excited with that little twitch.